ladies and gentlemen, and add one more statistic. Let's add a statistic on the number of people who are susceptible. Okay? Number of people susceptible. So, ladies and gentlemen, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. I want to add a statistic. What do I do? Good. That's right. That's excellent. Excellent start. I don't like asking questions. So we add a statistic. Okay, now the hard part starts. Okay, so what are we going to call it? Count susceptible. Okay, I'll make that part easy. Count susceptible. Is this a count? Is it an average? Is it a min? Is it a max? Sorry? It's a count. Okay, now, what values, or what's the expression? What's the criteria that a person has to specify to be susceptible? I'll give you a hint. Go over to person. How would we know from this diagram, how would we know a person's susceptible? Do we look at their income? What would we look at? Their state. Who's responsible for maintaining this state? This is a what? This is a state chart. Who's Shazam. What's responsible for who could we ask if someone's susceptible? We could ask the person's state chart. It's a state chart that keeps track of that information. So we have to actually ask the state chart. Well, no, we would need to go through item. We're going to need to use item because that refers to the person. But within person, we're not going to refer to item, we're going to refer to the state chart. We're going to ask the state chart, hey, is this person active? So help me start writing this. We actually did this once before. Maybe it was in a Java tutorial, but something like this. But okay, so let's go back to the statistic. Where does the statistic live, folks? Statistic lives in the population. It's an attribute of that population. So we go back to this. We go to this statistic, and for the condition, it's first going to involve item. It's a particular person, and then we have to ask items what? We're not asking about their income. We need to ask what about whether they're susceptible. We need to ask the state chart, item.state chart. By the way, there's a bug in AnyLogic where occasionally it doesn't do autocomplete for these things, and close it and open it again. And
yeah, there's a couple of issues there. That's another issue.
Yeah, item.state chart, and then you folks may not remember this, but if suppose you were in this sort of situation and you were trying to puzzle, what do I put now? I know it has something to do with the state chart. The state chart has to tell me what state they're in. After all, they might be in this state for one state chart, this other state for this other state chart. So there has to be something about the state chart saying, are they in a certain state? And suppose I don't remember what it is. Well, I could look through. I could do control space, and I could look at each of these. And there's a number of them, but let's look. Okay, is it equals? Am I saying is the state chart equal to another thing? No. How about this next one? Is state active? That sounds pretty good. In fact, bingo. Sort of rookie's luck here. It's actually is state active, and you ask it, you give it the name of the, okay, now this is actually you have to say person.susceptible, okay? Because it's susceptible with respect to person. This is probably what Andre hates. So there could be deer in our model too, and maybe there's a deer susceptibility. There could be susceptibility of a aardvark in our model, and so this is saying, okay, is this person susceptible in the sense of a person? So you have to say person dot. It's wholly unsatisfying. Yeah.
So you're on
So I know that. So at a conceptual level, what you're saying is correct. At an implementation level, they should have done it that way. These should have been criteria that are part of a person, and therefore it would automatically know I'm dealing with personhood, and therefore susceptible means what it means, obviously means for me. But they didn't implement it the right way, so you have to say person dot that.
But you're also referring to that Statechart. So
yeah, but through item. So this is a reference to a person. So I'm kind of saying.
Isn't that Statechart specific to the person? So Statechart has a different name.
It is, but this information is so this is actually some number that's passed to this. And in order to call this, in other words, in order to ask the Statechart, hey Statechart, you have this active state, it needs to give it a number here. And this tells it where to get that number from. And main susceptible, I don't know if you mean the seer is susceptible, the aardvark susceptible, the person susceptible. This is a number that has to be given to this guy for it to do its job. Is state active is going to say, I'm ready to tell you whether or not my state is active. I'm ready for you. You just have to tell me what state you want me to determine. And this is the information we need to give it, is which state to see if it's active. And this is passed to it here within main. And so it doesn't know if you're talking about susceptible person or other. Since unfortunately this is part of the ugliness that Andre probably hates.
And it's specifically the piece of code that he absolutely hates about it. But something else I wanted to point out really quick from John, please note that is state active. Person.septual is a static call to the class. It's not to a human person.
This is because it's an attribute of the entire class. So it's what's called I don't know how to use these words in front of this class. I utter them in great profusion from other classes, but this is a static quantity. It's a static thing. It's something about the class. It's about personhood. It's not about a particular person. So you have to say person dot. By the way, do you remember, Carmel, where we saw this person dot thing last night? We saw sort of person dot sex. Remember that? Yeah. It's the same basically. You need to do it as kind of a little ritual here, and that's it. And it's terrible.
Yeah, I mean it's just trying to get down the pattern.
Exactly. It's basically.
It feels like I'm referring to the same thing multiple times.
Right.
And sometimes I need to refer to them.
Yeah. Well,
that's where it gets challenging.
sure. It turns out that if you when you're using a state name, if you always were to say, like if you're referring to a state name in person, if you always were to say person not susceptible, always be happy. Always be happy, regardless of where you refer to it. Just sometimes it's required, like here it's required. Okay? It's just like that person dot sentence thing. If you always refer to it as that, you're fine. Okay? So anyway, sorry to abuse you with this thing, but we're computing here the number of people that are susceptible hits its account. Okay? Let's do one more statistic. How if I wanted to take the average population, or the average income in the population? How would I do that? So I want to say average mean income, say, right? Mean income. So I added a statistic. What do I do here? Sorry? Average, yep. And, okay, so we're averaging, and then it's going to ask us, and this is one of the things I'd like to highlight for people so you're not confused. What are we averaging? What for each successive person, what's the thing we're averaging? Their income. So tell me what to put. How would I, for a given person called item, how would I find their income? Item dot, this is not a trick question, item dot income. That's what I put. And then there's this thing, condition. But really this is just saying, for who should I count their income? Like, is it only for First Nations people? Is it only for males or for females? So therefore, in this case, I want everyone. So I do true, okay? I do true. Because I want it to be a mean income across the entire population. If I want to do this across only for for females, I'd have a condition like sex double equals sign, 1 or whatever. But here I want to do it for everyone. Okay, so let's run that, and here we go, and we can go look at the population, and here's the mean income, $1.7 million. Here are the count of susceptible people. Okay, you notice that's going down over time. Can you see that? And the mean income is given across the population. It's a heavy-tailed distribution on the right side. So there's some people with a lot of income and a lot of people with a low income, as you might expect from a log normal distribution. Okay, so we've just seen some statistics for population.